could be considered a public relations move in the nexus of politics and terror. It's our number 3 story on the countdown tonight. After withering criticism and skepticism from the British media and public about the alleged plot to blow up airplanes bound for the U.S., officials there today brought some of their suspects into court. 11 of them were charged with plotting airborne detonations using liquid explosives. A lawyer for one suspect denied all the charges. 11 other suspects remain in custody, not yet charged with a crime. Another of them has been released, a woman who was being held, released today without charges. Prosecutors could have held off on today's court appearance, which under the law would have given them more time to question these suspects. But the charges, the court appearance, and in case anybody missed the point, another well-staged news conference yesterday, complete with flashy-looking signs, all contributing to the police message that despite claims that they hyped this plot, they consider this a real case with real terrorists. It is a fair question to be skeptical of the skeptics, to ask, why would the British police, why would anyone exaggerate the threat of violence, fueling unwarranted fears? But theoretically, at least, it is clear that both terrorists and governments supposedly hunting terrorists have motives. Both of them have motives to keep people afraid. Terrorists, after all, do not just want us or anybody dead. Fear is often an even better end result. And few administrations in American political history, Democratic or Republican, conservative or liberal, can truly say they did not use fear, even exaggerate fear, to justify their actions. And that may or may not explain why the timing of the British arrests was determined not by the lead investigators there, but at the request of our government. It may also explain why so many of you have asked us to air once more a report we call The Nexus of Politics and Terror. We brought it to you first after last October's threat to New York City's subways was revealed to have been grossly exaggerated and perhaps originally made up. As always, this caveat: we draw no conclusions about the connection between politics and terror, except as noted that both can feed on our fear. Whether there is a causal connection, we lack the information to say. But don't be afraid to ask the question.
Number 1, May 18, 2002. The first details of the President's daily briefing of August 6, 2001 are revealed, including its title, Bin Laden Determined to Strike in U.S. The same day, another memo is discovered, revealing the FBI knew of men with links to al-Qaeda training at an Arizona flight school. The memo was never acted upon. Questions about 9/11 intelligence failures are swirling. May 20th, 2002.
The terror warnings from the highest levels of the federal government tonight are just
2 days later,
warnings.
FBI Director Mueller declares that another terrorist attack is inevitable.
Tonight, there are even more warnings
The
of
next day,
possible
the Department of Homeland Security issues warnings of attacks against railroads nationwide and against New York City landmarks like the Brooklyn Bridge and the Statue of Liberty. Number 2, Thursday, June 6, 2002.
I never really anticipated this kind of impact.
Colleen Rowley, the FBI agent who tried to alert her superiors to the specialized flight training taken by Zacarias Moussaoui, whose information suggests the government missed a chance to break up the 9/11 plot, testifies before Congress. Senate Intelligence Committee Chair Graham says Rowley's testimony has inspired similar pre-9/11 whistleblowers. Monday, June 10, 2002, 4 days later.
We have disrupted an unfolding terrorist plot.
Speaking from Russia, Attorney General John Ashcroft reveals that an American named Jose Padilla is under arrest, accused of plotting a radiation bomb attack in this country. In fact, Padilla had by this time already been detained for more than 1 month. Number 3, February 5th, 2003. Secretary of State Powell tells the United Nations Security Council of Iraq's concealment of weapons, including 18 mobile biological weapons laboratories, justifying a UN or U.S. first strike. Many in the UN are doubtful. Months later, much of the information proves untrue. February 7th, 2003. 2 days later, as anti-war demonstrations continue to take place around the globe,
take some time to prepare for an emergency.
Homeland Security Secretary Ridge cites credible threats by al-Qaeda and raises the terror alert level to orange. 3 days after that, Fire Administrator David Paulison, who would become the acting head of FEMA after the Hurricane Katrina disaster, advises Americans to stock up on plastic sheeting and duct tape to protect themselves against radiological or biological attack. Number 4, July 23, 2003. The White House admits that the CIA, months before the president's State of the Union address, expressed strong doubts about the claim that Iraq had attempted to buy uranium from Niger. On the 24th, the congressional report on the 9/11 attacks is issued. It criticizes government at all levels. It reveals an FBI informant had been living with 2 of the future hijackers. It concludes that Iraq had no link to Al-Qaeda. 28 pages of the report are redacted. On the 26th, American troops are accused of beating Iraqi prisoners. July 29, 2003. 3 days later, amid all of the negative headlines,
Word of a possible new Al-Qaeda attack.
Homeland Security issues warnings of further terrorist attempts to use airplanes for suicide attacks. Number 5, December 17, 2003. 9/11